Yes, g'day and welcome to our grand final week instalment of Freddy and the Eighth. Great to have your company. Of course, we're talking the big decider today. We're going to also hear for some greats of the games on their superstitions and what made them tick ahead of a big game. And new segment, What's in the Box? With the dots, Andrew Johns, Brad Fittler. Great to see you both.
That's Brad Pitt in Seven. Remember he, at the end?
Right at the end.
Is Gwyneth Paltrow's melon in the
You
head?
never know.
What's in the box?
What was the last, the seventh? It was the seven sins. What was the last one? There was wrath.
I don't know.
Gluttony, greed.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last one. That's where you end up
Greedy
killing the bloke.
Anyway, we've digressed already. Let's get
Revenge.
stuck into some footy. We're kicking things off with a Fast Five. It is called Fast Five for a reason, gents. Getting into it, Billy Slater cleared this week, Andrew, at the Judiciary. Good to go in his farewell game in the grand final. Agree or disagree?
I'm pumped that he's playing, but I totally disagree with him getting off. It's a shoulder charge, and they can talk for days about it, but look at it, it's a shoulder charge. But I'm pumped he's playing. But they've changed the rule by the letter of the law. It's a shoulder charge.
Ridiculous. Totally disagree. The NRL's credibility has dropped without a doubt. Just embarrassing decision, I think.
All right, so what have we learnt from the Slater case then? Is there going to be a tweak to the shoulder charge rule?
No, there should be a tweak to the amount of points you get for a shoulder charge, and that was argued a long time ago when they started the new rule. But I think what we also have learned, if you go in there and you sincerely talk about your intentions before any incident on the field, that your intentions were good, you can nearly get off. Of course, how you can say your intentions are good and then do the incident but get off, I think is just, I don't know, it's laughable.
Have they opened up a can of worms with the decision, Joey?
Yes. Unless they change the grading and the point system, they say they can't judge on precedence or something or other.
Yeah.
But
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
I wonder if it was a fringe first grader who done the shoulder charge. I doubt they'd be playing.
Okay, that's it. This one's divided the rugby league world all week, and you're right. The good,
I'm pumped he's
there's the
playing.
great news. The good
I
news
want
story
him
is
to
he gets
play.
his farewell
Everyone
game.
likes Billy Slater, but he plays on the edge all the time. Like, that's how he plays. He protects his line at all costs. And he did it illegally. They've got a rule in place to say if you shoulder charge, then 200 points, you're minimal a week out. That was just a shoulder charge. It was just how they can talk their way out of that being a shoulder charge just says that he was always going to get off because it was just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And mind you, it's the biggest contact of the night. It's not as though it was a tap and they just bounced off each other. He's knocked Fecky halfway into the grandstand. You know, like, anyway.
What about taking grand finals and state of origin matches and test matches out of the suspension frame? So if you do get banned for, say, a shoulder charge,
There's ways you can do it.
it's
Well, depending on the grading. If someone goes out before the, in the
breaks
major
someone's
semi
jaw.
and just goes, get rid of that, Cooper Cronk, your jaw's broken. No. But if it's
Maybe double it.
If
You
it's
can-
under 200 points, yeah, they can play.
Okay. Speaking of Cooper Cronk,
Yeah.
his shoulder, all the talk this week, Joey. It's a grand final, punctured lung in a grand final for yourself, and probably shouldn't have played. Does Cronk have to play with that shoulder regardless? And can he?
I don't think he can play at all. It's a torn rotator cuff. I don't think enough's been made of his courage to play the last 40 minutes. And I doubt whether they would have won if he went off the field. I got to say, Keary stepped up, but it was Cronk talking the team around, leading it around. He's a huge out. He can't play with that.
Freddie?
There's no chance he'll play.
You reckon he will?
I don't think he'll play.
No.
The big thing they miss is kicking. Luke Keary's going to do a lot of the kicking, but that's one target. Unless Jake Friend does a lot. There's talk of Ryan Madison playing, maybe Sean O'Sullivan, Mamarowski playing, I don't know, Mitchell Orbison.
What did you make
Outside
of
Sean O'Sullivan, none of the others are kickers.
Mitch Orbison named in
I
the
saw him
halves?
this morning
Right.
at Bronte.
Did you ask him if he's actually
I
playing?
said,
in the
oh,
halves?
there's the number 7, and he chuckled.
Right.
So that tells me something.
Sums it up. Grand final, always a lot of talk about who the referees are. Jared Sutton and Ashley Klein
Yeah.
with the whistles on Sunday. Good decision, bad decision?
Yeah, I think they've been reffing well in the semi-finals. No problem
Fred?
at all. As long as they put the whistle in their pocket.
Well, it's going
And
to be
that's
careful.
not jail talk.
Going to be careful in this game because these two teams will just try to slow the play of the ball down at any cost. So if you penalise them and you want to penalise them every tackle, then the game's going to be terrible. But if they just let it go and just let these teams frustrate each other, and the game will get for some fatigue in, and it could be a great game.
Okay. Away from the grand final, Dally M's last night. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck of the Warriors named the best player of the year.
I love this with his dad.
And then they were great scenes. And then there was the haka from his teammates afterwards as well. Isaac Luke leading the way there. Were you expecting it to be?
Every time I see Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, talk. I just want to go up and cuddle him. He's just so humble.
He gets younger.
This was great. Just what great culture they got, the Kiwis, where they could do this as a celebration. And you see Roger never took his eyes off his teammates. Pretty cool. I have to say Mitchell Pearce missed 10 games and was 6 points off the lead. And Kalen Ponga, superstar.
Who got the halfback? Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks. I thought Brooks was a smoky to win it. I think he was only 2 points behind Roger.
He had a good year, didn't he?
Great year.
Kalen Ponga, I mean, first year too. Remarkable to see.
Frightening.
And not surprising, I guess, that he was
Interesting. They talk about a second-year syndrome. So what teams go away and go, righto, what does he do? And they'll really study what he does. And that's where you've got to sort of combat that and you've got to create more things in your game. So it'll be interesting how he goes next year.
He'll be playing 5'8" next year.
He's a good player.
Fast five completed. Don't forget, we're finding out what's in the box a little later on here on Freddy in the Eighth. In the meantime, Joey's top five from the week that was. Andrew, it is over to you.
Well, my number 5 is Cooper Cronk. The courage he showed to get out in the field for the last 40 minutes. We all saw he was a passenger. He was carrying the arm. He must have been in all sorts of pain, but shouldered through, steered the team around, and eventually got him home. There's a couple of tackles where he stood in the line, just held his ground. You can look at that. It's just absolute agony he's in. I liked at the end when the Rooster actually... Oh, that's my favourite bit of the night. Number 4 was the celebrities in the sheds. Slamming Sam Newman. There's no way he's had any Botox in that head. And have a look. He's got the gloves on. And he's got the shorts. And have a look at the creepers. Look at the shoes. There's Molly wandering around. There's the King. Roy Masters is in there. It's just a who's who in the sheds. Hopefully Molly's not walking in somewhere where he's going to be looking at things he shouldn't. Nathan Cleary re-signs. Great stuff. He can build his game. Played Origin this year. Was rock solid there. He's just going to keep building his game. They're going to build a club around him. Fine young fella from a great family. And he's just on the up and up. So I applaud everyone at Penrith, Phil Gould, and Nathan for getting it out of the way. And look at that chin. You ride a skateboard on it. Number 2, Billy's final game. The best fullback ever to play the game. Changed the way fullbacks play. Everyone's judged on the performance of Billy. And they love him down there in Melbourne. I think contribution of Billy, Cameron and Cooper Cronk, Greg Inglis, these players, Israel Folau, put rugby league on the map down in Melbourne. Big game at MCG this night, 90,000. They still nearly got 30,000. So it goes to show the foothold and the market the Storm have. And the number 1 is Paul Momorowski. Only his second game in first grade, scored a key try for the Roosters under all sorts of pressure, marking Greg Inglis. Thought he actually outplayed Greg on the night. Scored that really important try, and then most of all, this gives me goosebumps still watching it. I think that's his brother kissing each other and his father. You just see how much it means, not only to the family, the people involved. That is what footy and sport is all about. That I still get tingles up my spine.
That's great. Second NRL game.
Great scenes.
Big stage and good pick up for the Tigers too from next season and beyond as well. That's Joey's top 5 for grand final week.
Did you and Maddie ever kiss and hug like that?
Late at night. Late at night. Just tongues involved.
Yeah, I did.
Nah, more punching involved.
Bradley, your team of the week. Now, you only had, obviously, 4 teams to choose from with the prelims. Run us through it.
Let's start. Billy Slater scored 2, saved 1. Just a brilliant game. Daniel Tupou and Blake Ferguson, the 2 Roosters wingers, were as good as anyone on the night. Will Chambers, just a strong centre performance. And Joseph Manu set up the try and pretty much just outclassed everyone on the field that night. Luke Keary stepped in when it was counted. Brody Croft was great. Cameron Smith just put the Stormmen on track, the Storm. Bromwich and Pryor. I thought Matt Pryor was outstanding. Very aggressive. Got out of line. Just tried everything he possibly could. Sutton I thought was good. Kafusi set up the first try for the Storm. He's been outstanding the last month. And Dale Finucane, just tough. Battered anyone in front of him.
Your player of the week out of that list?
Player of the week, Luke Keary. Once again, just, I think, just keeps surprising you. Getting around to the right-hand side. His kicking game really came into play, especially when Cooper couldn't kick anymore. Set up a couple of tries. He's just a really good player. I just really like him. I like the way he goes about his footy. I like his mannerisms on the footy field. I like his mannerisms off the field. He's always smiling. Nothing's a problem. And it comes out in his game. You lose your main player. it's brought to the club to nail these moments, and didn't fluster him at all. He just got on with the job and set up a couple of tries, and outstanding, Luke Keary.
Love him, and he'll be good this Sunday. All right, that's Freddy's Team of the Week and his Player of the Week. Now it's time for a new segment, Boom or Bust. We're going to run our eye over the 14 clubs that aren't featuring in the grand final. We're kicking things off with the North Queensland Cowboys, who this week signed this bloke for 2019.
Is he going in? Is he going in? Yes! And here is Ben Barber. So Gallen, scrum base play, Barber. Barber scores. Gallen went to the blind side out of the pack. Picked the ball up, gave it in to Barber. Barber picks up the advantage. Splits them wide open. Goes around another one. Barber's on his way for the try line. Barber's all the way to the try line. He is a little wizard, this fellow.
Yes, after plying his trade in the English Super League, Ben Barber is back at the Cowboys. He's the big inclusion on the back of a disappointing 2018. No Jonathan Thurston, no Kane Linnett, no Antonio Winterstein, Lachlan Coote, Sean Fensom, all going. Is it boom or bust, Freddie, for the Cowboys
Bust.
in 2019? Oh,
Boom.
boom.
Yeah,
Bust.
They'll be around the top 8 next year.
Okay.
No.
Nope.
Just take them a couple of years. Who are their halves? They
What?
got Morgan.
Young Clifford. Morgan.
Bust.
Bust. Boom. Done. Cronulla Sharks. They've got Josh Morris coming over from the Bulldogs until the end of 2020. They lose Jesse Ramian, Edric Lee, Luke Lewis, Joseph Paulo. Joey, boom or bust?
Stay. What do they call it? Standoff.
Standoff. Yeah, I'm the same.
I think that's the same.
I think they'll
Around the
finish-
middle of that top.
I
four.
finished 4th or 5th.
6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, around that area.
I'll stay steady. Okay. Big loss, Jesse Ramian, isn't
Yep.
it? Off to the Knights. Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. A couple of good signings. Jack Cogger, Nick Meaney, who has been going great guns at the Knights. Suaso Sue, Corey Harawira and Naira. But they do lose Josh Morris, Brett Morris and Greg Eastwood. Boom or bust? Joe?
Stay the same.
Okay.
They'll go better.
Some
I'll
good
go
signs
better.
at the back end of the year, weren't they?
They'll push the top 8. I really like the way they'll go
Really?
in.
Push for the top 8.
Absolutely. They're one of the better teams at the back end of the year. They won some big games. Beat South, beat a few teams. So I'm going to say fringe of the 8. So I'm going to say boom for them.
Okay, boom and steady, staying put. The Warriors, Lisa Narmow coming from the Dragons, handy inclusion, but they've lost a couple, including Simon Mannering, we've seen go after retirement, and Mason Lino going to the Knights.
Maybe Isaac Luke may be going to the Knights. Stay the same.
Okay. Warriors for you, Fred?
Around the 8.
Just.
You're not sold there?
No.
Okay. Broncos, no big recruits for 2019. David Mead, Sam Thaiday, Corbin Sims, all gone. Wayne Bennett, boom.
Boom.
And you expecting Bennett to be there?
The best young players coming through.
Okay.
Payne Haas, Dave Fafita,
Matt Gillett comes
Matt
back.
Gillett. Lodge will be in there another year. Tavita Pangai.
They've got to find a half. I know they've signed Sean O'Sullivan,
Yep.
but a big club like that, they need an out-and-out superstar in the halves.
Yeah. And Jack Bird fit next year, what you would expect.
Jack Bird.
Jack
So, yeah,
Bird,
Another one
Wow.
to get in
5'8".
that team. Ooh.
Milford playing halfback.
Where are they going to play him, do you know? They've played him everywhere.
Talking to lock. I've heard they might play in lock.
Move Josh Maguire front row.
It's no
He
difference.
can play anyway.
these days,
Yeah. Okay, Parramatta Eels, Junior Paulo, getting him from the Raiders. They've got Blake Ferguson coming on big money from the Roosters. Sean Lane too from the Seagulls, but they'll lose both Scott, Suo Matangi and Kirasami Va'a. Boom or bust for the Eels, Bradley. Surely only one way is up.
They'll improve, yeah. They'll improve. I really like the way Jarrell was playing at the end of the year. It'll be interesting what they do in the pre-season, how their players sort of handle the pre-season.
Norman Moses, key.
It all depends if they ever go in the pre-season.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're the key. They've
There's so
got
much,
it.
there's
Both
so
those
much talk
players-
around Norman heading to another club.
They've struggled replacing Semi Radradra. Is Blake Ferguson the man to fill the void?
He's
Freak.
unbelievable at the moment, Blake. Gets the sets rolling forward.
killed it this
His
year.
metres made far greater than any player on the field this year. Look, he's had some dramas off the field, Blake.
Oh,
He's had some real challenges growing up. But he's not drinking, and you can see he's less scatty. He's really focused.
the key's
Very-
going to be him going to the Eels
He's very present.
if he's going to handle being at the Eels. They're very different. The Roosters are a pretty tight ship. You know, they're in control of most things that are going on in the players' lives.
I spoke to Fergo. He pretty much said to me, "I'll never drink again," which if you understand the challenges he's had growing up, it speaks wonders what he's doing.
All right, Joey, the Knights, Tim Glasby coming, Jesse Ramian coming, Edric Lee, Mason Lino, and as you say, maybe Isaac Luke. But they do lose, as I mentioned before, Cogamini, Harrington, obviously into retirement, so too Lillyman.
Boom.
Top 18?
They'll make the 8 next year.
Yeah.
If Mitchell and Kalen stay injury.
You can't give an if. I think Boom
Okay,
too.
Boom.
I think Boom.
Sonic Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, I don't know about Sonic, but I think Boom.
Can they push the
Did
4?
you back him this year to be in the 8? Yeah.
Well, I've no doubt if Mitchell played every game.
And
Now,
you
that's
reckon
an if.
Ponga definitely 5'8"? Who's going to play fullback? They've lost Meany. He was like the
Maybe
young
Connor
one
Watson.
coming through.
Yeah, he'd love to play there, I think, by the sounds of it. All right, so you say top 8, what about top 4? Could they push
No,
that
not
far?
top 4,
Okay.
top 8.
Canberra Raiders, Ryan Sutton, John Bateman heading there, both from Wigan in the English Super League. Shannon Boyd, Junior Paulo, Blake Austin, all gone. What happens to the Raiders? Bradley in 28.
Loves the Pommies, don't he, Stick? Got a couple of good ones there now. The hook of the back row and got a couple others. Steady.
Yeah, same.
Steady.
Okay. St George Illawarra Dragons. Corbin Sims coming from the Broncos, joining his bro, Tarek. Joel Thompson, Leeson Armour, Jason Nightingale, all gone. When you look at the Dragons, did you see enough this year to think that they can go another step up? Is Ben Hunt the key to
Definitely
doing
the
that?
key.
Well,
Under all
Whittle's-
sorts of pressure
Whittle's the other one.
towards the end of the year, Ben Hunt. And then I thought he stood up a little bit in the semis, and then that big play right on the death. When they were drawn with, a minute to go, he decided to run the ball in his own half.
Be interesting, Corbin Sims. I like Corbin Sims as a player, as long as he gets rid of the crap out of his game. He's got some crap in his game. And here they need some size.
Well,
They need a bit of size.
he
Paul
might-
Vaughan will be back
He might get home under Tarek. Tarek grabs him all off-season.
and say, let's go.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think they'll go good. They'll go good again.
Quick one, the Manly Seagulls, boom or bust?
Bust.
Not like it. Kane LG coming down from the Titans. Speaking of the Titans, the Gold Coast, they pick up Tyrone Peachy, Shannon Boyd, Tyrone Roberts. Kane LG going, boom or bust?
No.
I'll go boom.
Right.
I think they'll improve.
They make finals?
No.
Okay, but on the rise. The Penrith Panthers. Tim Grant, he's coming back from the Tigers. Peachy Brown, Crichton, Eisenhuth, the coach Griffin, gone. Harold Naira as well. Who knows who'll be coaching them?
Boom.
Booming.
They'll make the top.
Corey Harrow and Ira. That's a big loss. He's a good player. Yeah, I think they'll stay the same. I think they'll, around that 4th and 5th, and their form in the semis will dictate how high they go.
Okay, that's the Panthers. What about the Tigers? Paul Momorowski, as we spoke about before, coming from the Roosters. Naguama, Swaso Sue, Malachi Wateni, Zalesniak, Tim Grant, all going. Is Ivan going? Is it contingent on?
Yeah, that's a yucky position to be in.
Well, you know what it's like? If a coach gives any player a little sign of weakness and an out, I'll take it.
Yep.
So I'll say bust.
Yeah, I'm the same. Unless Ivan goes before the season starts and something happens there. Yeah, I even think Luke Brooks even came out in an interview. Like a young kid came out in an interview and goes, I don't know how hard it's going to be with Ivan there knowing he wants to go to Penrith.
Okay.
That can't work.
Last one, the Rabbitohs. On the back of what you've seen, Joey, boom or bust? They surprised a lot this year under Anthony Seibold, who's Dally M Coach of the Year, by the way.
They're very lucky with injuries this year. Angus Crichton leaving, but they've got some really good young players coming through. I'll go the same. I think they'll be around the same.
Yeah, I think so too. They'll be around the same. Cam Murray will improve. Campbell Graham will improve.
Cam Murray, wow.
They've got some good young kids coming through. They've done a good job with their junior rep squads. So I think they'll be in the top part of the 8.
Okay, there you go. That's the boom or bust segment with Joe and Freddy on teams, 14 of them heading into season 2019. The other 2, they are the grand finalists, and it's time to get stuck into our preview. The Roosters and the Storm this Sunday, and boy, no shortage of good storylines this week.
Now to Cronk, he's going for a drop goal.
Well, he's holding his left arm there, Cooper Cronk.
He's not comfortable at all. They spent every single minute of half-time working on Cooper Cronk.
Passes, relaxes, bang. Oh,
Well, Cronk needs to be off the field.
I don't know what my realistic chances are, but on a long shot.
Holmes linking up with a telly, and it's a sigh of Becky is bundled over by Slater. Although it's a shoulder charge.
Officially, a grade 1 charge.
I think it's absolutely crazy if he misses a grand final because of that.
You've got to say he's got to miss because it was a shoulder charge.
The stakes don't get any higher.
Yeah, two big talking points. Billy Slater, now, as we know, free to play in the grand final. And Cooper Cronk, what's going to happen with that shoulder? Well, he has been named in an extended Roosters side for the decider, exclusively live here on 9, of course, on Sunday. And this is how they line up. As mentioned, Mitch Orbison with the 7 on his back. And, yeah, a little giggle when speaking to Joey about his role there. You don't see Cooper Cronk there because he's 23. That's the number that he stands at the moment. What's your feeling on the Roosters, Brad, from what you've seen in the final
Well,
series?
looking at that, Isaac Liu will go to lock forward. Victor Radley back to the bench. It'll be interesting if he starts Napa or Takiaho. That might indicate, I think, maybe where Nelson Asofa, whether he comes off the bench or starts. And then who he plays off the bench. I think Orbison will go to back row. And then his big play is going to be whether he plays O'Sullivan, Madison, or maybe even Momirovski in the other halves to help Keary. But I think they need another kicker. It's going to be really hard. Melbourne are good at, isolating a player. So that's why I think it'd be pretty tough for Cooper Cronk to play given those circumstances. His shoulder's pretty crook at the moment.
Well, Sean O'Sullivan has a tremendous kicking game, and he's a left foot kicker, which the left foot and right foot, him and Keary work.
Keary plays on the left side.
Yeah, but Keary can play both. So Keary in attack can go to the right. Whether to set the game up, Trent Robinson starts with Sean O'Sullivan for the first 20, 25 minutes and then shuffles it all around. I think Ryan Madison will play there.
I think Ryan Madison will play 5'8", maybe O'Sullivan on the bench at best.
What about the return of Dylan Napa and Latrell Mitchell as well? I mean, you talk about timing. These two both back from suspension.
Well, there's 3 players with X Factor. You got Latrell, you got Tedesco, and then on the other side, you got Munster. They need a 10 out of 10 from Latrell and probably a near 10 out of 10 from Tedesco to win the game. They've just got to find a way to get in the ball in the right situations. And then this bloke, I get the feeling he's going to throw everything. Well, he's going to. I saw his eyes after the game and they were rolling. It's like a great white shark about to attack.
Yeah, I wouldn't say hello to him. He's in a good headspace, Dylan Napa. And he's someone they need. Yep. They sort of struggle. Siwa Takiao is carrying an ankle injury. So they're a bit busted through the middle. Jared's been outstanding.
Hasn't he been great?
Oh, he's been brilliant over these big games. Come up with some big plays, no more so than the tackle on Sam Burgess. So a welcome back. Latrell, they need the X factor. Not so much an X factor, but they didn't really have much, did they? The Roosters.
What do you mean?
Like the only time they went outside their set plays is when Boydo went that flick pass, and then Manu ended up sort of coming up with the tricky inside pass to Fergo. Like they don't really throw much at you.
Well, that's the key in big games.
And that's why Mitchell, he's vital to them winning.
You need somebody willing to go outside the structure with an act of brilliance or something that breaks open the game. South didn't have it last week. And those 2 players, Latrell and Tedesco, they're the key.
Manu's got a bit in it. Manu's got a bit of that in him as well.
Yeah, I suppose so. And then on the other hand, Munster, he's the one.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Munster, let's have a look at his team. Of course, he'll be playing 5'8" for the Melbourne Storm in this grand final alongside young Brody Croft, who's been going great guns. There's Billy at the back, ready to go. Great battle in the centres too. Chambers and Latrell both wanting to play for Australia and those 2 tests post-season. But you look at that outfit, Fred, you said it, with Dale Finucane there. It is strong. Cameron Smith pulling the strings.
Mate, started the bench. Christian Welch has been outstanding. Kenny Bromwich is a Kiwi test player. Brandon Smith's just a lunatic. Brandon Smith's I love watching him warm up. He's sweating. He's like one of those horses that just are sweating and they just want to get out there and jump out of the gates. And, of course, Nelson is just a monster. So, everyone in front of them is brilliant, but their bench, they don't wane at all during the game. They just seem to keep getting better and better and better. And with Cameron in the middle with his composure, they're hard to beat. They're just such a well-drilled side.
The right side attack and the combination of Kaufusi and Slater. You saw the first try, Kaufusi passed inside to Slater. That time, Kaufusi ran the decoy for Slater. That's their side. They work to the left side of the field with Jesse Bromwich laying lines, and then they come back to the right side with Kaufusi and Slater buzzing around that right side. Incredibly hard to beat. I think they go in as the warmest favourites I reckon I've seen in 20 years.
Speaking of Kaufusi, he's part of our matchup leading into the grand final. He and Cordner, potentially Kangaroos teammates later this year, and obviously rivals in State of Origin. Been standout year for Felice and up against Boyd Cordner, who we know he's just an absolute champion. This is a beauty.
He's been outstanding, Kaufusi, his last couple of games.
What a player.
Oh, mate, his game against South Sydney was the best I've ever seen him play, and then he sort of took that into last week's game against Cronulla. Different players. Boyd sort of set in just running one line, and he does it unbelievably. He's so tough, and he will keep doing it and he will drive that person mad. That'll be young Brody Croft over on that side of the field. But Felice Kavusi, mate, in slippery conditions, comes off his right foot, brings, I think, Luke Lewis in or Moylan, pops the ball. The week before, he's sort of running through spaces, scoring tries,
Doing
setting
those
up
outside,
tries.
inside plays.
Oh, he's a good
Remember
player.
against Penrith, he
Yeah.
actually dummied inside and Jimmy Maloney took the bait, went straight through. Smart player. Yeah, best back rower in the game at the moment.
All right.
Yeah.
Your grand final winner by how
I
many?
like
And your
Kikau.
Clive Churchill medalist.
Kikau for Penrith's a good player.
I'm going the Storm by 7, and my Clive Churchill's Munster.
Brad?
I'm going.
The bigger the occasion, the better he goes, Munster.
With you on
good.
that.
I'm back in the Roosters, and by a couple. Roosters by a couple, and then I'm going to say Kiri have another big game
Okay.
because I need a win. Actually, I don't even need a win. I just need a draw. Would be good.
Tipping comp, Fittler's gone 1 point ahead.
Yeah.
But I was ahead after 26 rounds.
Doesn't matter.
Tipping comps, they finish after 26
they
rounds.
Don't you, maybe you get 2 points for the grand final.
I'm in front.
Why don't we do that?
I'm in front.
Yeah,
Do you know?
something
Who,
like that.
so and you know he's tipping too. So shouldn't you tip the same to stay safe?
No, I can't do that.
He's still
I'm back in
getting
the
paid
Roosters.
off Uncle Nick.
Seriously, I'm working there. That's why.
Oh, yeah. Doing a lot of
I've got to
work.
go and clean some water bottles out of the Savo.
And as you saw there too, grand final exclusively live here on 9 Sunday Footy Show coming to you live from the ground from 11 o'clock and Sports Sunday before that. Huge day of live sport here on 9, the greatest day of the year. All right, time for a bit of superstition talk from two greats of the game.
I had a pair of red jocks, similar, a bit like the Steve Waugh red hanky, but they weren't. They were probably $5 in a pack of 4. And I remember wearing them for the first time. I think I'd left my Speedos behind and we had a big win and I played well and I thought, oh, I'm just keep wearing these things.
Superstitions that I'd always do. Like I didn't have any where I'd put my right boot on first or left boot on first, but my socks, I always liked them the one colour since I was at the Dogs. They were blue and then they'd have the white stripe around them. So I'd always tuck that white stripe in, so they were always blue. And then when I got to the Cowboys, they were the same. Sometimes they were the yellow stripe or the white stripe around, and then I would tuck the stripes in, so it was all the one colour. Even in Origin, I'd make sure that my socks were always the one colour, so that's probably the biggest superstition that I had.
Yeah, great little insight there from JT and Lockie on their superstitious behaviour leading into games. Joey?
How long have we got?
You got a few?
Mr. Wood used to do awful things in his head. I used to always have a bath the day of the game. I
Right.
always have a hot bath. And towards the end of my career, I used to free ball the last training session, the captain's run.
Right, go Commander.
Yeah, because we had a big win, and then I thought if I go back and wear jocks or underpants, we're going to lose.
No rash?
Well,
No more of a rash.
yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple, but there's a long list, yeah?
Oh,
But
there's
there are a
I'd
few
only
that's-
eat fruit. Yeah, that's just,
Wait, on game day, I only eat fruit?
yeah.
Right. Fred?
I had a pair of tracky pants that I wore for about 10 years.
Oh, rash.
I'm not sure how many times they got washed either.
Oh, the
But I had
fungal
a pair of
rash.
fleecy line Roosters trackies. They were dark blue. They were just awesome. So I used to sit in the corner and just read the Big League mag or whatever mag they had for the day. And so the moment I'd get in, I used to like watching games, but then people would drive him out on the sideline. So I barred that. And then just, sit in the corner and read me Big League or whatever it was and have me fleecy trackies on.
Still got them?
No, they pretty much just fell apart.
Right.
Like,
Doesn't surprise me by
Yeah.
the sounds of it. Now we get to reveal what's in the box. Drum roll. All right, here we go.
do we get to guess what's in the box?
Do you want to guess?
I think it's a jersey.
What do you
Not
reckon?
big enough for a jersey. I'm saying
It's
pair of
Lockie's
jocks.
red jockey.
Oh!
get away!
I can smell it. It's like Chernobyl.
Darren Lockie's superstitious Grundies.
You can see the sock mark.
He's gone all out too with the alphas. There we go.
She's the front of
I thought you were going to put them on your head.
This was always a risky
Mate,
gag.
that's later.
Yeah, great. We'll put them back in the box. They can stay there. The box with the dots. There you go. We were waiting for that moment. We finally got
Tell
there.
you what, I'm so excited now.
Yes.
I'm on my toes. I'm on my tippy toes.
I was worried about this moment. All right, time to head down memory lane. Benny Elias and that amazing moment in the 89 GF.
And surely they'd set up a field goal.
Elias thinking about the field goal. He has the shot. Has
Has he got time? Plenty of it. Hits the crossbar.
It was just amazing how this 8 metres of crossbar would have changed our lives at Tiger Town. All the supporters, the players. You just realise that rotten noise still rings in my ear.
Has he got time? Plenty of it. Hits the crossbar.
That rotten noise that came back to us never went over. This lousy 1 point, that split second, it really becomes almost like a mini nightmare. And there was plenty of moments where you sort of think now and ponder how easy it was to knock that over. But, oh, crikey. Oh, I cannot believe it. And that's how easy it is.
Has he got time? Plenty of it. Hits the crossbar.
Brilliant. Such good stuff there. Great to hear from Benny Elias on that moment back in 1989. Best ever grand final. Where's it, Rick?
Best ever. Best game ever.
I remember watching. I was about to go camping with my mates. I reckon the Brisbane Cowboys grand final was as good as I've seen.
This one for me is head and shoulders above any other game or grand final I've seen. Had everything.
The daytime made it look so good, didn't it?
Yeah. How good was daytime?
It's the Winfield Cup in goals too that I loved back in the day. What makes it so great though for you, Andrew?
I just had everything. And you could see after the game, especially the emotion, what it means. Mal
The toe
crying. What is he saying? The best playing for Australia. This is what it's all about. You saw Wayne Pearce was just laying on the ground on his stomach with his face in the ground. And then in the end, look at this, Steve Jackson, no one ever heard of him, picks it up, beats about 4 or 5 defenders and scores this unbelievable grand final try. Look at
that. What a try.
And that's the best thing. Winning the grand final is just the great. Look at this poor old junior. There's Bellyache. Lazo, what a player he was. What a team that was. The Canberra Raiders that
was incredible
with the early 90s was just the best team. I think the best team ever.
We played them a few times. We played them in the 90 grand final where they won that, and then we beat them in the 91. Right. But it was always playing against that team. They just were stacked with stars.
Cracking grand final to chat about in grand final week. That's it for Freddy and the Eighth. Thank you, gentlemen.
Season 6 months.
Season 6 months. We're back with a bang next year.
I'm still here.
Where are you going?
Yeah,
where am I going? I'm going to Morocco for a while.
there you go.
I'm going over to Italy.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hope you don't wake up with a horse head in your bed.
In Italy? Well, what do you get them for?
That's a mafioso.
Mafia,
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd
Well
be
done.
awful, wouldn't it? No.
Holidays start after the grand final here too. Thanks for the good times in this studio.
It'd be a good sign if I hear that noise, we'll be alive.
Thank you, Bradley. Thank you, Andrew. Freddie and the Eighth for the final time in 2018. Hoping to be back with a bang next year. And of course, don't forget the grand final, the Roosters and the Storm, exclusively live right here on 9 this coming Sunday. We'll see you then.